Well guys, come on in here. Let's see what we got today. It's going to be a fun day at the range, I guess. It's the first time I'm able to get out here and try out this hybrid 46 DTM suppressor, chambered in basically any caliber up to 0.45 caliber, so 45 and under, so 10 millimeter, 357, 9 millimeter, 308 rifles, 226, 556, things like that. But today, since I already have a Q trash panda for my basic rifles, 308 and 300 blackout, I'm just going to use this on a pistol. It's going to look ridiculous because it's freaking massive. This is a PSA Dagger that I just got specifically for this purpose. It was a great deal over the holidays, and I got a Fox Army red dot on there that I just sighted in today, which works really great. And then we just got a couple of PCCs from New Frontier Armory, the 9mm and 10mm. And if you want a coupon code for New Frontier Armory, just go into the description and you'll get 10% off with my coupon code. For today's ammunition for 10mm, I don't have any subsonic. I don't even know if they really make subsonic because, I mean, I assume they do. I think I've seen subsonic 10mm, but then it's like basically a 40 caliber, right? So I just have just basic laser ammunition here, blazer brass, 180 grain full metal jackets. And then for the 9mm subsonics, I've got out here the AAC 147 grain. I did do a video on this before without a suppressor. It shoots quite nice, great recoil analysis. And then I got a couple boxes of the Ammo Inc. Stealth ammunition. This is the 165 grain TMCs. And then this is some reloads that I got from Green Country Ammunition or Green Country Ammo or something like that. It's 147 grain between 900 and 1000 feet per second. I use this for competition, you know, it shoots really light. And then I don't know, I guess I'll try some reloaded 115 grain supersonics. These are from, it looks like, I can't remember, Mountain City Supply. They're out of business, by the way. I have a video on that. They're very shady. It took like forever to get this ammunition. They're out of business now, but have a lot of this ammunition that I have to shoot up. So let's go ahead and try it out, see what it's like with this Silencer Co. Hybrid 46 DTM here.
The apocalypse.
It's a bit of a windy day out here today, but hopefully you guys don't hear a lot of that on the microphone. But I just want to kind of show off this PSA Dagger. You know, I don't know anything bad about it, but it's basically uses all the Glock parts, Glock mags, things like that. And I got this basically customized. I don't know. I picked which color slide and barrel I wanted. It's a copper color barrel, copper coated, Cerakoted, I don't know exactly, but it's got these nice little cutouts on the slide for some weight reduction, a little bit of a recoil reduction when the slide goes back. And now I'm gonna have a suppressor on that's really gonna help with that. And then the trigger on this, I think it's way better than the Glock just because, you know, it's a two-part trigger like this that doesn't have a paddle in the middle, like that goes straight down the middle and kind of pokes at your finger like I've experienced. But, you know, it takes down just like a Glock with these slots here with that doohickey. But let's go ahead and shoot it with the suppressor. I have never shot it with a suppressor before. Now let's see here. With a DTM, you're gonna have to get one of these fancy pistons that I already put on there. Let me take it off and show you guys a little bit more about it because I was kind of curious about what I needed for a pistol in order for this to work. Now the Hybrid 46 does come with a couple of tools here that you're going to need to work on this suppressor on either end. This is, by the way, the brake that you can buy as an optional accessory, but it does come with the thread. I think it's a DTM direct thread mount. And I had to buy this piston separately with a mount as well. I don't know, I had to buy two separate things, the housing thing here and then the piston that goes inside of it. I already assembled it, has a spring in there. And basically on this end, you can put your direct thread mounts or whatever attachments you need. But in this case, we're gonna try it out first with the piston. Obviously for the PCCs, I'm gonna need to use the direct thread mounts that I've got in two different thread pitches for the 10mm and 9mm. All right, now that I have that on there, obviously just go ahead and screw this on. Just make sure that's all nice and tight on there. It definitely feels wonky. Really heavy a little bit on the front end, but this is still gonna work just fine, I believe. Okay, now I'm just gonna go ahead and load up. Let's just do like 5 rounds of supersonics real quick. Kind of check what the sound level is, and then we'll do subsonics and you can kind of see what the comparison is like, okay? All right, here we go. Huh. That did not cycle properly. Let's see on the next one. See, I keep getting this failures to eject in there. I thought this piston was supposed to help you out with that, but I don't know. Let's see if it needs some breaking in or if it only works with subsonics instead of supersonics. Yeah, all right, we're empty there. So, all right, not very reliable feeding at all. Let's go ahead and throw some of these 147 grain reloads in. Okay, so far, this is not working. I don't know why. If you guys know why this doesn't cycle, even with the piston on here, tell me in the comments what's wrong, because I'm new to this suppressor on a pistol platform, so I am not sure this was supposed to help cycle the firearm back and forth, unless it just needs some more break-in. All right guys, I'm coming to you guys from the future here, trying to get the PSA Dagger to work with the Hybrid 46 DTM. I was able to get it working earlier off camera, and let me show you guys what I thought was the issue. I thought it was the piston. I have the XL version, but then also I swapped out some springs, different weighted springs. Right now I have the orange one in, which is 12 pounds. This is all from Aimpoint, I guess. 12-pound spring, and let's go ahead and show you it working. It's basically a spring issue here, I believe, and the 12-pound spring, what was happening was that the bullet was just barely crawling out of there. It was kind of like going up and hitting the front slide and then falling out. So let's go ahead and see if this works now, and then I'll show also the green spring, which is the 14 pounds. So the stock spring is 18 pounds, and when I was using that, it looked like it wanted to eject it, but just wasn't going all the way back. So let's go ahead and try it. This one is, again, 12-pound spring. Now you see that didn't really fully cycle. Let's go ahead and try it again. Put the second bullet in here too. You're gonna be really upset that it was working before and not working now. See how it just barely came out of there? But it did cycle that. Let's go ahead and try now the green spring, the 14-pound spring. I'll go ahead and swap that out for you off camera and we'll come right back. Okay, so it's just a matter of changing out the guide rod spring. It's pretty easy to do. I think you guys can figure that out. And the ammunition that I am shooting today is the Ammo Inc. Stealth ammunition, 165 grain 9mm here with a muzzle velocity of 800 feet per second. So let's go ahead and try it now with a little bit of a heavier spring, the green one, the 14-pound spring. The first one was the orange one, which was 12 pounds. So now we got 14 pounds, right? This also was working a little bit more reliably earlier off camera. Let's see if I can get the same replication. That one cycled flawlessly, so I'm probably going to keep that in there because also we were able to, it seemed like it ejected the shells a little bit better that way. So if you want to get your PSA Dagger to work right, sometimes you might need to take off the muzzle brake, which I have on here. Otherwise, it still works as well. You're just going to have a little bit of extra weight on it. But that seems to be the only way to get this type of pistol running with the suppressor, the Hybrid DTM, Hybrid 46 DTM. And it's a little bit larger for what a suppressor, what a pistol should have on it, because it's so big that you can barely just, I mean, you definitely have to use an optic because these suppressor height sights are not tall enough for this type of suppressor. I mean, if you had an actual pistol suppressor on here, then you'd probably be able to still use these sights as well, the taller front sight here. But what I did was I just put an optic on it because I still need to get a little bit higher. Like the dot is just right above the tip of the end of the muzzle there, and so at least I've got something that's accurate and something that actually works now. So that's all you need to do. I recommend using the green 14-pound spring, or at most maybe a 12. If you go a little bit higher into the 16 or the stock spring, the 18-pound spring, that wasn't working for me at all. So there you guys go. Hopefully that helps you guys. Now on to the rest of the video. Okay, now we're here with 9mm PCC. Look at that. That kind of looks kind of cool with this Hybrid 46 DTM. And for a 9mm PCC, I'm using a 5x28 thread on here on this direct thread mount. Maybe you will use the same one, or you might need a different one. I think 9mm sometimes come in different thread pitches, but this one is the 5x28. Let's go ahead and give it a shot here. The neat thing here is that it's going to, the PSA Dagger and the PCC here uses the same magazines, the Glock mags. So let's go ahead and try it out, see how this sounds with supersonic ammunition. Okay, it's not working anymore. Let's see if, oh, it had one in there. It must not have cycled all the way. Let's go ahead and try it again. Throw that in there. All right, so I don't know what the hang up was, but that was not the fault of the suppressor. It was the fault of this Timney trigger here that's meant for an AR9 platform. So I have zero clue why that did not reset. I mean, when I opened it up, the hammer was locked back. Even if I tried to pull the hammer with it all open, disassembled, it was still not going up. I put it in safety and it kind of like brought it back up and then was able to function again. Let's see if we can do 5 more rounds here on the suppressor. We'll load one in. See, there you go. Hang up. I don't know why. It was on the last round before and it was on the last round here. I don't know, but that's supersonic. Let's go ahead and try subsonics now, okay? Oh shit. The wind just blew you over. Okay, here we go with supersonics. This sounds still pretty loud on a PCC. But that did feel weird, like it did not fully reset the trigger properly. Huh. That's subsonic, but for some reason that still sounded loud. Okay, this time we're going to use Ammo Inc. Stealth Ammunition, 165 grain, 800 feet per second. Maybe it just sounds loud because of the reciprocating spring that's all up in my face. Just trying to put my face on it. Okay, yep. So the suppressor does work very well for 147 grain or subsonic 9mm. That 165 grain did sound super quiet. What was loud is just this sound right here, with the buffer going all the way back into here and the spring and everything moving around. So actually, you know, pretty impressed. Sounds pretty good with that. We didn't try the reloaded Green Country ammo. Let's try that real quick. But I'm just going through this just to kind of show you guys my experiences with this suppressor on these kinds of platforms with the pistol, which didn't really work so well in the 9mm PCC here. Now this usually fires pretty good. I don't know what's going on with the Timney trigger, and maybe I just need to switch back to the normal trigger, but I like this trigger. It was meant for the AR9, so I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna try to shoot this again without putting my face. Well, maybe it's just both here. Sounds quiet. All right, no failures here, right? Yep, we're empty. Okay, great. Anyway, so that's the Hybrid 46 DTM on a 9mm PCC. Let's go ahead and try the 10mm PCC now. Okay, I just put the new direct thread mount for the 10mm PCC on here. I'll put the size on the video here because I can't really recall what thread pitch it is. I just know that it is the same one that you would use for 308 or 300 blackout rifles. And so, yeah, and then I'm just gonna use supersonic Blazer 10mm ammunition, 10 rounds here, just to kind of see how this shoots, since I don't really have any subsonic 10mm, and if you do, why? Because then you can just use the 40 cal, right? So let's go ahead and see how this sounds. Sounds kind of loud. Oh, 10mm will knock a plate over. I mean, it's a bad stand, but still. All right, ran flawlessly. Okay, great. Happy about the 10mm in this suppressor. It's not super hot, and I did notice that this was not that hot from the 9mm PCC shooting as much as it was when I was shooting this suppressor with the pistol. And just so you know, I just noticed that when I was shooting the 9mm PCC, I was using the actual one, the piston mount that I was using for the pistol. So let's go and use the actual direct thread mount and see if anything's different. As you can see, silly me, this is the one I use for 10mm. This is the one that needs to be used on the 9mm, or depends on your thread pitches. You just got to use either or, but you got options here for your direct thread mount. Now what I loved about the Q Trash Panda, which I think I like that suppressor more, is just because you have the cherry bombs that you can just go ahead and, you know, all the same size thread pitch on the suppressor, and you just get various cherry bombs that put on different platforms, and then the suppressor just can get swapped around easily without having to swap out this direct thread mount. But you know, Hybrid 46, you can get different locking pistons like that as well to help speed things up too. But in this case, this is what I'm using, and it's a little bit less convenient because now I have to buy additional accessories. But I did like this DTM, this Hybrid 46 DTM, just because of it being able to be used among so many various calibers, and this cool little brake thing here is pretty neat. So let's go ahead and use this on the PCC. I don't know if this will make much of a difference between this direct thread mount and the piston, but we'll go ahead and see. I mean, it does lock on there pretty good. Now we just need to shoot some ammunition here. So let's go ahead and use the stealth again. I don't know, we'll mix it up. 3 rounds of stealth here, and then maybe some 3 rounds of Green Country reloads. I'm not really sure who makes it. It just comes from their website at a very affordable price, and I've never had any negative experiences with it. 9mm subsonic stealth and Green Country reloads with the actual direct thread mount without the piston. Let's see if it cycles better, if it had any problems with my Timney trigger. So 6 rounds total here. So quiet, wow. I'd say it's a little bit quieter than if you were using the piston maybe. And I'm not gonna shoot with my chin on there. Yeah, listen, the only thing that's making this sound is this whole action right here. If you're standing next to me, it would not be as loud. Oh, yep, I did have the hang up again. Put on safety, fire again. Now reset the trigger properly. I don't know why. Okay, that was it then. Okay, yeah, anyway, a little bit of a difference using the direct thread mount, go ahead and use that, especially if you're using this on a rifle platform, obviously. I just realized this cool little oven mitt doohickey for your suppressor removal comes with like the sizes on here. So that one that I was using on the 10mm was the 5/8 by 24 thread pitch size, just so you know. All right, guys, let's wrap this up here on this Hybrid 46 DTM. You know, it's cool that they give you all these fancy tools and stuff like that, but you know, with the Q-Trash Panda, you don't need any of this stuff. But the Hybrid 46 DTM is a lot more flexible, I guess, or versatile because of the large diameter that it can shoot out of. Now you can get various different brakes or end caps on this here, 0.45 or other calibers, I think, can't remember, but I got this one as a 0.46. I think it's 4.6 or 4.5 or something like that, or maybe 3.0 or something for your 3.300 calibers like 300 Blackout or 308. Overall, there's going to be a neat suppressor that I'm going to probably use for PCC shooting, or have as a backup for also the 308 or 300 Blackouts or 5.56, things like that, or if I get any other bigger caliber rifles with a threaded barrel on it. I'm not a big fan of having all these different attachments like the piston, which obviously I guess you're going to have to need anyway no matter what suppressor you're going to use, but I guess I'm just talking about the different thread mounts that you're going to need. With the Q-Trash Panda, for example, I really love the cherry bomb option that you can buy with the different thread pitches and just keep them on your rifles, and then whenever you want to swap the suppressor from rifle to rifle, you just can go ahead and it'll screw onto any cherry bomb. But in any case, there you have it. There's my experience shooting today with the Hybrid 46 DTM suppressor. If you think it's for you, go ahead and pick one up. And if you guys have any good feedback for me, because I'm just learning a little bit more about this, write it down in the comments description so I can answer your questions or let you know my other thoughts about shooting this today. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys in the next video.